Hello everyone, very good morning. Myself Jones from Credo Systems. On behalf of Credo Systems, I would like to welcome you all for the session today. So I can see many new joiners joined up the webinar today. I appreciate everyone joining the webinar on even on a weekend day. So for the today's session, as you already know, our senior mentor Mr. Vipin is handling up the webinar today. So I request everyone to join the session throughout the class. At the end, you'll be having a QA session to clarify your queries as well. So please stay connected. You'll be getting a form to share your details in the middle of the session to get your participation certificate as well. So with this, I'm handling it to Mr. Vipin.
All right. Give me a second. Can you all hear me well?
Yeah, fine. It's audible.
Okay, great. Good morning, everyone. I'm so happy to see on a Saturday morning, most of you have actually here for learning something new. I really appreciate that. So let's get started. My name is Vipin. I think I got a presentation also to share, so I'll share my screen as well. One second. I think I need to just drop and open because I have recently gone through a Mac update and I need to just allow permission for the share screen. I'll just quit and reopen and join again. Just give me a second. Okay, I guess it's working without that. Can you all see my screen?
Yeah, yes, Vipin, it's visible now.
Okay, cool. And you guys are seeing my second monitor, which is the presentation, is it? Are you seeing the slides, how to switch from automation to manual?
Yeah, correct.
Okay, great. So once again, welcome everyone. So I'll start with a brief intro about myself. My name is Vipin. Currently, I am working with Amazon as a QA manager, and I personally, a person who always keeps who wanted to learn, throughout the year and always. So these are some of the recent certification I got. One is about the Kubernetes certified application developer and Kubernetes certified administrator. Was those are something that I got in 2020s, and I also have multiple patents submitted to Amazon. That's one of the IDF award I got for submitting the patent in Amazon. And personally, if you ask me, other than work, I kind of enjoy the astronomy things, and I'm into astrophysics and things like that. The pics what you see is with the telescope, the stargazing, planet watching, and all of that. Actually, quite interesting things that I do when I am not at work. At Amazon, what I do is, so we take care of the Amazon Alexa devices. We have devices. You must have seen the Echo devices in the market. So the software part of that, the functional part of that, we take care of testing, automation, and anything related to that. That is something our team takes care from Chennai office. All right, that's a brief introduction about me. Let's move on to the testing and automation things. So, well, before I becoming a manager and dealing about the automation, all those things, I was also an engineer who was actually a manual test engineer who did manual testing for a very long time, and who was afraid to look into what is even automation almost for 4+ years. I was just scared to even look into what it takes to be an automation engineer. So I had that fear, like many of you may have now also. I have been through that, so I know what is most of your mindset. And and I think you all deserve a round of applaud or appreciation for showing up here today, at least that you wanted to move into the automation and know about what is automation and things like that. So great job on doing that. I think this is the first step. I'm sure you will have many more things to do, and you will be successful with that, all that. So with that, what I wanted to discuss mostly was just one second. Sorry. Yeah, so what we want to discuss about this is you should know, or what is there in the market in testing field. So I've been in testing industry for more than a decade now, and I see that there are a lot of people coming into it. You could be a fresher or an experienced person in the manual testing, or it can be anyone. So I'm telling you that there is a huge demand for the testers in the market, regardless of any industry you take, healthcare, e-commerce or entertainment or anything, wherever they have a software as equal or more than as a develop developer or any other skills. Testing jobs are very much there, and the in terms of remuneration and package and things like that, it's equally rewarding as well. Now, if you are a automation or if you are a manual tester for now and wanted to move to automation, I think that's a great steps you're taking. And because of the how hot is the automation job market, and how well the industry is paying for the automation engineers or automation testers are just crazy. Believe me, in my current company, I've been just looking for automation engineers every day, and I'm just not finding enough of automation engineers who can develop some good stuff for me and Amazon and Alexa and things like that, right? So, and how the level the companies like Amazon and Facebook, Google, and all that company space, we are the all of, even at our company level, we are not expecting a great super person to code. All we are looking for, at from my experience, a basic good testing skill, which you all already have, and some a decent automation. Okay, so that itself, industry in the industry, people are less, very very less people who can really automate, right? So I am seeing a huge demand, literally a huge demand for the people who can really automate, and salary at the scale of what you demand. It's just that easy for you to get into your dream job and dream salary with automation. I'm sure about it. Okay, that being said, let's move on to the today's topic, right? That is about how you can convert manual testing to automation, right? That's our topic. Okay, and trust me, I am not going to talk about any programming language or any of the core deep technical thing that I wanted to cover in another 30 or 40 minutes. It's mostly about what kind of things that you should do to be an automation engineer, or some of the steps that I learned it when I was coaching the team or training the team or throughout my experience and things like that. Okay, so let's go to the next thing. So it's about the automation mindset. Before that, just wanted to see, Jones, can you open the chat for the everyone? And I just want to see, they are all like freshers, or what are they currently doing? Manual testing, or what are their current roles that I like to hear from them. So can you open the chat for them so that I can just see?
Yeah, yes, Vipin, they have the access for it.
Okay, so can you all, I mean, I definitely want your involvement in this. This is a simple talk what we are doing today. So please, let me know in the comments or in the chat section what you are actually doing currently so that we can talk accordingly. Okay, someone is a fresher. How about others? Okay, we have some manual testers. Okay, we still have more manual testers. Okay, so it looks like we have many manual testers and some of the freshers. Okay, regardless. So let's talk about in common. So if you are a fresher or a manual test engineer who was trying to start a career in testing or trying to convert into the automation, what happens is all of like I have been a manual test engineer. It is not about the skill that is required to become a manual test engineer, I mean, automation test engineer. It's about that fear what we have inside about the automation testing, right? It's about a mindset or a psychological change that we need to undergo to become an automation tester. Okay, so when I was a manual tester very long back and wanted to convert into the automation engineer, what was the scariest thing for me is the terms that they use in automation, right? There are many terms that you are unfamiliar with, right? The code reviews and CRs and Selenium and things like that. So those are what are I mean those are really were a scary words for me, and I didn't know what exactly they meant, and some of those things actually kept me behind going into the automation, right? So if you still think that you also are feeling the same, and I know a way to solve that, let me know. I mean, in the chat, can you let me know what are the some words in automation that you don't understand and kind of scary about those words? Anything that comes to your mind, if you can let me know in chat. Any automation terminologies? Okay, yeah, I'm seeing some of them. Yes, those are like Maven. Yes, it used to scare me as well. Yes, Python framework, very correctly. I didn't know what is a framework. I was like scared, like, okay, this is something, some maybe lakhs or 10,000s of code they written, and maybe we don't understand anything, right? Yeah, correctly. Um, so many words like that. Let's take one by one and see how to solve that. So the model what we wanted to follow today, or how I have reached into this model, is based on one of my previous experience. Okay, so in this model, you see a graph here. I'm not showing anything confidential here. So in 2020, I was actually with a different company, and this is a new project I started. There, I see this was a team of 25 people, and they were doing some kind of network testing, network manual testing for some of the core networking product. I think it was some voice over router or something like that. So I took over this project, and I see that all of them are actually manually testing the same test case for over and years ago. I think about 6 to 7 years they've been testing same test case manually over and again until I come. So when I looked into the test cases, they were all very simple test cases, right? Executing a command in that, checking the output is that or not, and some of the establishing some of the connection. These routers are like normal commands. You execute, see the results, and say it was pass or fail. So what happened is I didn't wanted that to happen, continue to do that way, and I wanted to make some changes. So I spoke to the managers and I spoke to the senior leadership and told them that 3 months you give me these people, I am not gonna let them execute manual test cases. I'm not gonna convert them into manual automation testing. Okay, so I put up a proposal and a plan, and uh, I think in July or August that we've started this training and few activities. In October month, that 25 people, right? I think 22 of them were, starting to automate. And if you see my slide, in the October month, we did 17 test case automation. Okay. Uh, After the trainings, and then in October 17 and November 14, and look at the number goes up. It is by end of May 2011, in a month, they were able to automate about 175, same 22 people, overall automating about 1,129 test cases. This is the real example that I have converted people in manual into automation. This was not planned actually at all, right? I never had a plan of converting them into manual. I just tried it my own way to convert them, and it was successful. And this model, then I tried to explain to a lot of people, a lot of companies, a lot of automation, a manual team who wanted to do try automation. And this is something that I tried myself, experienced and successful. So I thought, why not to extend with everyone? And the Credo systems are very close associates of mine. So I wanted to have a webinar with them. That's how we are all here. So what we are going to discuss rest of the day is how I did this, how I converted this 22 people from manual execution for like 6-7 years into writing solid code of 175 Ks in a month by 22 people, by 25 people in few months. Okay. So we are going to talk about exactly the same thing, what I did to them. Okay. So let's go about with number one step. So what I did to them is, first thing, training on a programming language. That is very mandatory. Okay, uh, you need to know one programming language at least. Okay, and my preference, if you ask me, with the automation trends and automation demand in the market, Python will be my first preference, and then with if you wanted to try some UI automation, then Java with Selenium or Cypress or APM. Some of them are actually uh, good to learn. But what, regardless of what tool you learn, first and mandatory thing, the first step is to learn a programming language. It can be Perl, it can be Python, it can be Go, Java, anything that can suit with automation. Like I said, my preference is again on Python because of the simplicity of Python to learn for the manual testers or freshers. It's very simple. It's like how you write the English code, that easily you can kind of write the. So what you, in programming language, it's a vast thing. What for you are a fresher or a manual test engineer, what is that you needed? You need to be good with the, condition statement, looping statement, and some inbuilt functions and things like that. Like you must have heard about the for loop, while, and things like this, right? Condition statement like if and while loop. Those are the very core of this automation, and you need to be strong with that. Okay, and some of the inbuilt function, how to reverse a string, or get some data from a file, and write that into the file, and basic functions. So all that get functions. And there are some things called in Python as regular expressions. Those will make our life easy to. Those are some small life hacks, like sorting some numbers, taking only numbers from a string, or taking only alphabet from a thing, what you get, and things like that, right? So first and foremost thing, you have to have a programming skill with you. Okay, that one you have to learn. how you learn is up to you. You can reach out to Credo system for training. They have very good trainers. You can go online. You can there are so many courses outside. You can learn it by yourself, by googling, or if you are working in office, you can ask some of your colleagues to teach you. There are thousands ways outside, but choose one of them and you have to learn it. Okay, try to get a mentor rather than you going through some videos or things like that, right? My preference, my suggestion will be to get a mentor to learn it. uh, Whenever you have a doubt to clarify, or you to try to get the best practices, it's always good to get a mentor in your automation. Okay. So that's the first take. Then, go extra mile in learning, as this is a core and very fundamental. Yes, you need to take an extra step here to go a little deep and learn about whatever I told in the first statement. That will really help you. Okay. Then, what you need to, what once you are clear about these things, then try to solve some problems. Right, you can just Google it for online interview questions for Python, and basic questions of Python interviews and things like that. You'll get solve some 10-20 case interview question, though, because our intention is to get into an automation job, right? Most of you, right? So that you need to know what kind of questions they ask. They are a very basic question. They'll give a string. They'll ask you to print only the numbers from that string. I mean, in that word, or reverse that, or find the duplicate, or list the duplicate, and things like that. So some of those questions you should definitely know to solve it. That's the first thing. And what I did with the with this set of people is, this was done in Perl, and we hired an external trainer to the company, and we organized a 5 days training. Or similar way, you can have like daily training of 1 hour for some 10-20 days, and get a basic training on Perl or Python get completed. So this one, we hired an external trainer, and we conducted this training. Done. Number one step done is training on a programming languages. Okay, cool. Second things, you need to do an assessment by the training. This is very, very important. After you learning, okay, if you are using a trainer, right, or if you're using some trainer from Credo Systems, or if you're using a trainer from anywhere, or a mentor, ask them to give you a set of questions. This is very, very important, and solve it by yourself. This trainer or a mentor can give you a good set of questions that will challenge you to get into the real programming, like some solid questions that will really help you to think beyond your capabilities and things like that, right? So you need to ask that your trainer or a mentor to give you a set of assessment questions. If you need these in Python or Perl, you can ask me at the end of the question. I can send you these questions that I usually ask my trainees to solve it and give it to me. Okay, and be honest with you, try to solve it yourself, and I will ask you some cross questions, and get stronger with the problems that you wanted to solve. That's number two. These two are the first thing, you get trained with it, then get an assessment and it's complete by yourself. Third thing is configure your dev environment. Okay, or if you're a if you're a already working, right, you need to have a very basic understanding of your repos and commands that you use for version control. This is where it gets scary for everyone. Setting up a dev environment, in the sense, it simply means that you will have a if you are a manual tester, and if you have an automation running in your company, they will definitely be having an framework, which means that a set of codes, libraries, and test cases which they are already written and kept it somewhere. Okay, where they keep is called as a repo. Okay, you need to check that out into your laptop. Okay, that's what called is set up your framework and getting someone's help and running a test. Before that, you need to uh, have a basic understanding of what repo is, and you must have heard about git clone and things like that. Okay, so so you need to check that code into your system, meaning you need to get that set of Python framework code and library code and test cases into your local system to run it for yourself. So check out this code with the basic git commands. It's very simple. It's just one command. Okay. See this. This is a pic I took today to show you how easy it is to clone a automation library into your system, right? This is my PC git clone SSHing into the git.amazon.com package / automation metrics. Okay, so all the automation metrics code will be available in my local system, in my Linux or Ubuntu or whichever the PC I'm using, or Windows it can be. Okay, so with these steps, this is a very simple step, and you can get help from your colleagues, or you can get help from internet, and with a few steps you can set up your environment. You can install Python in your laptop, have this library which you already have the Python framework and testing, right, checked out to you. And then what you need to do is this step: run a test case. Okay, this is important. You need to, before you write or any test case, you should know at least how to run a automation test case. Only then you will be able to make changes and further tape it. So uh, writing a script of reversing a string is fine, and executing in your compiler is different than executing a test case from a framework. Okay, and that's a huge gap in that. People don't really understand what's that gap. Okay, so even if you know how to run a program, which doesn't mean that you know to run an automation code. Okay, so what I wanted you to do is take a training, go through this assessment by the trainer, set up your dev environment. Okay, in the dev environment, have some basic commands learned of this git version controlling tools like git or gitlab and things like that, right? And get someone's help or Google it and check out that automation library or automation framework what you have in your company into your PC. Okay, and get someone's help to run one single test case by yourself. That is a big milestone. So if you're able to run, maybe that is an UI automation case, or some case, it depends on what your project. Maybe it is just to the test case that I wanted you to run, maybe to open a Google browser and log in and place some order and come out of it. That's it. Simple, right? Just a second. Yeah, so those simple test case that you should learn to run. That is one of the main step. Okay, let me take a pause here. Any question so far you guys have? You can ask in the chat, or if you want, you can ask to unmute the mic. Anything from anyone? No? Okay, I take that silence as no questions for now, and let's move on. Okay, all right. So we did training, then we took some assessment, then we created our environment, and another this is not required here. Yeah, next step. Now you need to edit an existing test case. So how will you edit an existing test case? Let's say um, you have a test case, okay, let's call it as a simple UI automation. You have a website, you are logging into that. Okay, you have a small workflow of adding 10 item into the basket, and checking out uh, and things like that. Okay, so what I wanted you to do is make a small edit, maybe the quantity that you wanted to edit for the purchase, or you are waiting for a screen to appear, increase some sleep timer, right? 100 to 200. Make some small code change. Every change is a change, right? So make a small change. Now run that again with your automation frame. Save that and run it again. So you are slowly breaking the mindset of, okay, you are also able to make changes to the automation, and you are also kind of getting into the automation, right? So we need to break that mindset. This is exactly what I did also. So I made people, so since I said that was a networking automation, um, there was there's some of those cases where changing the network configuration, like the port speed, and using different ports and things like that. So those are very minor changes in the code, and I made them to change that. Okay, so then what I did is, okay, so let's say you have a, like I said, you change some quantity of the purchase to buy, or you increase some sleep timer from 100 to 200 so that it wait for a long. Or if you're doing some device kind of automation, instead of playing some song, you're asking a weather and things like that. Okay. Now you made a change. What is that next you needed? This is an important slide or important term in automation. CRs. Okay. And raising my first CR was maybe the happiest moment I had in my automation journey itself, right? That meaning it's a change request, meaning you change something, okay, and you are submitting these changes into your, repository, maybe it Git or GitLab or anything. There are a few commands to add your changes into the Git add for uploading into the staging, Git committing into the local. I'm not going in detail of that Git commands. These are these change submitting a change request means you made the changes in the test case, and committing into the repository so that everyone can use, or you can have a version control on top of that. There are simple set of comments. I've added a link here. I can give, or you can just Google for basic Git commands, right? For committing into the code and cloning and things like that. So this is how you raise your first CR. Okay. Now I hope you understand what is a CR means. Change request. Whatever the changes that you did, you are committing into the system. So how it look like is, it's like this. So whatever you see in the red, right? This is a screenshot I took from the Google. Um, let's say these are the things that you deleted, and this is the things line you added. Usually most of the Git and things like that, it comes like this, the differences. Okay. Some, let's say with taking into our example, let's say your test case was to add 10 items. So 10 you deleted here, 20 you added here. So this is the change that you made into the code. This is how it look like when you make a production code change. Okay. Red will be deleted, green is are newly added. Okay. So then you submit this for code review. Okay, you click on a button there in the when you add this commit and git pull and things like that. That's some of the comments you use, and then you submit it for. In different people call it for a different way. It depends on organization. Again, there are so many names they call. At our company we call it CRs, and um, then in different companies, previous company, they used to call it as pull request. Raise the pull request, right? Then it means that you have uploaded something new. It depends on the company and the tools they use, the naming changes, but at the end of the day, you are actually committing your code into the main repo, and someone will review your code. So once somebody codes reviews it, they might ask you, okay, this is not the way to do it. You need to edit this and add that and this or that, things like that. Some small changes they may ask. You might have to make the code changes and then again submit it. They'll accept your code, which means once the code is merged into your system, you can then probably test your code in a staging environment, and then you need to move into the production test bed. Okay, so typically what is a staging test bed means, typically you run in your local a test case about 10 or 15 times, to check the stability. And all that 10 15 times, if your test case that you currently written in automation is passing, that means your test case is kind of stable, and then you can move that test case into production by updating wherever you might have some test trail, some field to update us, or automated equal to yes, and or some metrics to update that yes, this case is automated and things like that. Then you can move this case into the production. Once your case is moved into production is only when we call it as yes, this case is automated. So this is just not about your learning how to code. This is the flow of the automation lifecycle, how you can do automation in your coming days. Okay, so just to quickly recap how I achieved with these people and different other organization is: number one, we took a training on the programming languages. We were good with the condition statement, looping, inbuilt functions, and regex, and solving them some questions. Then we took an assessment by the trainer, some 10-25 questions, and we solve all of the 10-25 question. With this itself, the second step itself, you will be very confident about doing the automation. Rest all is very simple things, right? First two steps are very important. Then about creating your environment, breaking the mindset that automation is not a big deal, automation framework is not a big deal. Get that cloned into your system, and then running an existing test case in your local automation. Then edit a test case, make some changes. Okay, small changes like I discussed here. Then submit that for a CR, make that as a change request. I'm sure you will feel happy about this stage when you're raising a CR and someone is looking into your CR and saying it is approved. That feel is something really good you'll feel about being an automation engineer. I think once your first CR is approved, you yourself will feel like, yes, you're an automation engineer. You know what is a process, rather than just writing some script and the script is giving an output of reversing or duplicating. You think it this way, right? You learned it, you edited a test case, and you raised a CR and they approved. Of course, that's all. You are an automation engineer. You're there. Then it takes for you to code reviews and staging runs and production, right? So these are the steps I believe that I have helped hundreds of people to do automation and change their career into the automation things. Okay, so very simple steps and very powerful steps. I think if you follow this, you will definitely be there. Okay, so this is the main thing that I wanted to talk to you today. Now, I think some of you may have questions probably on any of these steps. Before we go into the general questions, okay, I wanted give an opportunity to ask questions based on these 5 or 6 steps that we have discussed today. So yeah, let's see, anybody has a question on these steps? Is this the same workflow for all frameworks in automation? More or less, yes, right? Because the workflow starts from here, right? Probably from here. So what, I mean, I want to explain you, when you say automation framework, right? Do not consider of the existing available TestNG or PyTest kind of frameworks. They are actually, they really cannot be called as a framework. Okay, they are actually a package, right? When you can actually call as a framework is when you in your office there will be a different modules created for you to test reporting, or for your constraints, and specifically for your own things. Okay, there will be a set of library codes written. Okay, all of that things can be called as a framework. Now, if it is a Python framework, then it is the same. But if it is the Java framework, setting up Java framework is little different. And if it is a Selenium based framework, then a little bit different than how to configure Selenium WebDriver and things like that. Okay, so it varies a little bit, but fundamentally, for you to become a automation engineer, you follow these steps. These are your fundamentals. And framework thing, maybe one company to another company changes, but that nobody will expect you to learn every framework every time, right? All they will expect you is to write some automation script. Even when I interview someone in any programming language, like, all I ask is how well they can write some code. I will generally, I'll ask them about how is their framework, what all components they have in their framework, and etc. etc. Okay. But if you're attending for an interview, if you have not worked on a framework, that's fine. Not a problem. You can say it was a small environment. We don't have a large framework, but you can learn it. So it varies from company to companies. And the framework is, again, not at all a big constraint, because you can go learn it once you join a new company. Okay, so yes, I hope that answers your question. Cool. Okay, any other question on these steps that we follow? Okay. Right. So let's go to the one final slide. So this is something that I usually take. So there are, if you are a fresher, if you want to get trained in manual testing, I usually take training for that, and some of the automation also I take. And if you needed some preparations for your interviews and how to crack interviews, some mentorship guidance, and all of that, if you are looking forward, you can either contact me in LinkedIn, or if you are looking for any specific trainings in Python, Selenium, or any of the courses, you can always reach out to Credo Systems. They are very close to me, and they have some exceptional trainers with them, who's kind of matching the vibe with me, and what we do and things like that. So they are really good. And you can always go fill up that form, and provide a feedback on the training. And you can contact them for if you are interested to take any of the automation things. Even if you wanted further more details on topics, and further more details on any of the technical guidance, mentorship, if you want, you can always reach out to me in LinkedIn and ping me and say hi, that you're in this webinar. And stay connected. Learning, don't ever stop learning. Keep learning every day. And that is something that I always tell to my people in my organization, or people in my team, and for close friends of mine, and anyone I take training. Never stop learning. Keep fueling yourself, and that will pay you back for sure. Yeah. So thanks a lot again for connecting on a weekend, and I really appreciate your enthusiasm to learn something new on a weekend. Really appreciate that. Again, one last chance again for questions. Otherwise, we are good. Anything from anyone? No? Okay, I take that silence as no question. Is there a difference between UI automation and device automation? Yes, there is a lot of difference. So I can explain that as well. So UI automation is basically a web browser based. Okay. web browser in the sense, you have a website and that website need to be tested. Okay, you have a hospital website that need to be tested. You have a airline website. You have a website like Amazon.com or Flipkart that need to be tested, or any website. Okay, that's called UI automation. That UI automation can be a web browser, or it can be a tablet, mobile tablet, or you have mobile automation also. So all of these things are front end. Okay, the front end is actually called UI. So how you test UI is by so you are seeing my screen. I wanted to come and click here, so there will be an element behind that. So I need to come at this place of the automation, click here, view, or go click slideshow and click here. This is my test case. So when I try something through UI automation, I need to move my mouse here, come click on slideshow, play from start. This is a UI automation. Okay. Now this can be accomplished uh, through another automation. That's called API automation. There will be an API key that I in the code, API.getKey.play button. Okay, so without moving my mouse, I can, there will be a backend API for this particular button, and I can directly click this button. Okay, so then it get played. So oops. Okay, so those are the two ways of automation. One is API based automation, which meaning you will not go through these UI and click it. Each of these places will have an API key, and you click on that API key. That's how it works. So second thing is about you asked about device automation. Um, device automation is basically it can be an API, otherwise it will be just a script. Okay, a device, a mobile, if it is an Android mobile, there are Android commands for opening ADB commands, right? So those command can be directly accessed by script, Python script or Perl script. Okay, so scripting is one way of automating with the pure script by accessing the commands directly of that device. That is scripting. Second thing is about the API automation. API is more of a backend automation, like some of the keys will be there, things like that. So access that key and press that button. UI automation is front end. Again, it can be a web browser, or it can be a mobile or a tablet or a desktop's browser. It can be anything. So navigating through, let's say you're placing an order, you want to test a placing an order in Amazon, right? So you go to the amazon.com launch. Okay, type the address bar, click enter, then the home page will go. Then you search for some iPhone 11, then you add that into the cart, then you click on that add to cart button, then you go check out that button and go through that payment. All of that actually is called UI automation. Is that clear? Did I answer your question? Yep. Okay, cool. Can I learn automation without manual testing? Um, yes and no. It's a tricky question because testing is a nice skill to learn. Okay, so for all that people who tested it manually, it'll be very easy for them to get the context of what they've been testing and the testing mindset you will have. Okay, a tester should always be focusing on finding bugs, what all are the corner scenarios that you can uncover, and all that additional skill a manual tester will have. Despite of that, you can always learn automation without learning manual also. But manual testing, you can read about it and skill a little bit, but having a good scripting knowledge in automation can definitely be possible. It is possible. So the answer is yes, it is possible. But read some basics about testing. What is a functional testing? What's a performance testing? In functional testing, what is test priority? What test cases that you should be addressing first? Like the P0s has some highest priority, so you need to be addressing P0 cases and things like that, right? And another mindset or thing that you need to capture is automating some test case should not be your goal. With your automation, catching bugs should be your goal. So let's say you have 100 test case, and in 100 case you automated about 80 of them. And how I personally see an automation is successful is how many bugs my automation is able to capture. That is the most important thing. So that mindset someone should learn, even if you are learning only the automation. That's important thing. It's about no, it's really not about automating. It's really about how much of bugs your automation is finding, right? You have, let's say you have 500 test case automated. Out of 500 test case failed, you have 20, like 20% of the failure are due to your script failure, and only 5% of the bugs if you're capturing, then your script is buggy, right? You need to fix that up and make sure that your automation is catching bugs. That's very important. As an That's a guidance for all of you. If you're regardless of your automation or manual, you should always be focusing on finding bugs, especially if you're trying to be an automation engineer and someone asks you what's the goal that you wanted to do it with automation. uh, you know Automating number of cases shouldn't be your goal. With the automation, finding number of bugs should be more number of bugs than the manual testing should be your goal in automation. Did that answer your question? Somebody asked about learning manual and automation. Okay, any more question? Yeah, I think I already answered that question, right? Can I directly work in automation as a fresher from Naveen? Yes, that is. Yes, that is answered. All right. I think if no other question, John's back to you. I think I'm done. You want to take over?
Yeah, thank you very much, Vipin.
All right.
That was really a wonderful session. Thank you for sharing your knowledge.
No problem.
Thanks everyone for joining the session today. So as Vipin mentioned, we are planning it to conduct a series of webinars in useful in topics. So please stay connected with us. We have shared our link in the chat box and our number is there. You can contact us at any time if you want to have an individual discussion with him, or if you like to have a career counseling. Please keep in touch with us, or you can reach us to our contact number at any time. So stay connected. Next weekend we are planning for the one more session, so it will be updated to you. So please stay connected with us as well. And thanks for joining once again, and have a nice day, everyone.
Yes. And if you have a feedback on this, if you feel that anything that need to be improved or anything you didn't like about this training overall, please feel free to say that in the feedback, and or to me directly. I always take the feedback and I change it accordingly. So feel free to do it. Don't shy away to give the feedback. And I have posted my LinkedIn also. You can stay connected with me in LinkedIn as well. All right then. Thanks everyone.
Thank you, Vipin. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Bye.